on the same page here. So everybody's got 5 minutes. I think I've gone around to everybody and explained to them you're cut off at 5 minutes, just so it's fair for everybody. So you'll be judged on whatever you can present in 5 minutes. Dan's going to go first. This team here is second. Raise your hand, number 3. That's you guys back there. Yes. And then 4 is the ones at the table there. So 5 minutes each. As soon as he's done, I'm going to have the second group come up. We may have time for a question or two while they're setting up. Then we're going to go. The same thing. There may be a question or two while they're setting up, and then we're going to go. As soon as we're done, the judges will huddle for a short period of time. We'll come back and announce winners, and then that's the location winners. Tomorrow afternoon, the sponsors winners will be announced after the sponsors have had an opportunity to review the hacks from across the globe. So you can watch that at TADHack.com to see if you won a second prize by any chance. Tom is going to be giving people indications of how much time they have left. So with 1 minute left, they'll raise 1 finger. And with 10 seconds left, he's going to raise 10.
And then I'm going to do this. But I won't start until James gives me the
I'm already done. We're already live.
Oh.
So everybody
So
okay
when
with
you're
that?
ready,
We're
say
broadcasting
go, and I'll
across
press the start
America. How are you doing? Good to see you.
Okay, so yeah, just let us know when you go.
All right,
and then,
I'm ready.
Okay, go.
Hi, my name is Dan Morgan. This is my second TADHack. I actually did this last year where I placed globally for another project I wrote that is SMS based. SMS, most of the world doesn't have a smartphone because they're really expensive. So a lot of people have flip phones, and one of the communication platforms that works basically across the entire world is SMS. So I created an SMS-based game system called Hot Potato. It is a series of sort of smaller games, but the basic idea is you don't need a smartphone to participate. All of it happens over SMS. So I'll show you the interface here. This is sort of an emulator. So you can log in. This is using the API Days SMS and call feature, but we're only looking at the SMS stuff here first. But so I've logged in. I'm going to emulate a question, and at least half of you in this room back in the day, to get to O, you had to click the 6 button 3 times. So this sort of emulates a keyboard, and the first question is actually pretty hard. It's spelled Mississippi. So if you're doing it on SMS, it'd be a while. So it's based off of, this particular game is actually based off of time. So for those of you who know what HQ is, it's sort of based off of that. You get a question, you answer it, and then it goes back. I actually have several different question types. One is just a trivia question. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? There's basically 2 answers, A and B. Respond back there. There's a math question, a trivia question, and then there's the idea of a scavenger hunt. And the scavenger hunt would be like send back a text of a dog, a picture of a dog. On the back end, there would be a service that would do some image recognition to validate that and then give you an answer. The sort of basic idea is you can, one of the things I wanted to do was allow this to be something that you can kind of turn on and off. You don't need a dedicated app. I can just log in when I want to by texting saying start. I'm part of the local space, game space, or global, doesn't matter. And I can text stop, and then that'd be basically it. So it doesn't require a whole lot of memory. It's just based all off of SMS. The other feature is largely, there could be prize-based. So if you and I wanted to play, or a group of us wanted to play, we could kind of just play together in that way. But in an HQ kind of style, we could get sponsors to sort of help go from there. Again, it is sort of democratizing mobile gaming using, quite honestly, one of the oldest school technologies you've got out there with SMS. So that's what I've got. Questions?
Why don't you guys get up and start setting up? And then if anybody's got any questions of Dan while they're setting up?
Did you win?
I won last year, yeah. I placed in the global.
I meant your own game.
Oh, no, so I actually, the emulator for the keypad does work. You have to press 6 4 times to get O. So trying to spell Mississippi actually took a really long time to work, but it does
When I
work.
went to that link that you sent me, that's not what I was seeing. I was seeing her up there still. Did you check it recently? Just now.
Oh, and the last part about this is I wanted something like, because this is telecommunications, this is largely
I'll reset it.
calling
Okay.
and all that sort of stuff. I wanted to use it in a non-stable way, so gaming. Like, I forgot to mention.
Oh, yeah. So maybe we should turn the
Yeah, turn the TV on. One of the things you should do is also tell us what tool set you used. Yeah, the sponsors tool sets.
I'm sorry, you plugged in here or no? You gonna use this or no? So, you gonna plug in here to use this?
How do I identify this team? What's this team?
Don't pronounce it.
Whatever you.
Yes.
Let me know when you're ready to go.
Yeah, we're ready.
Go.
Our team, comprised of Vishal, Ryan, Jay, Eddie, and me, Pavan, have programmed a safety app called SciSafe, which utilizes VoIP innovations, telco, SMS, REST technology as a core part of our functionality.
Now, right now, in America, there is a growing problem of child safety. As the Washington Post has reported, in all of history of school shooting, there have been over 250,000 students involved in school violence. Now, this number is continuing to grow, and we realize that we need to bring this number down. Thus, we were inspired to create SciSafe, an app in which students can be protected and which parents can help monitor these children.
Now you may be wondering, like, what is the difference between our app and other safety apps on the current market? Initially, we started with like an emergency alert system, which is where a child can press one button, and then it sends an alert to the parent if the child is in imminent danger. Secondly, we added a boundary feature, which allows the parent to set a boundary and restrictions on where their child can go, and is alerted if the child exceeds those boundaries. Lastly, we solidified our app with a feature that is like an alarm, where the parent sets a time, and then if the child is not home by that time, then an alert is sent to the parent if the child is not home.
So another unique fact about our app is that we actually have two different UIs for the parent and the child, as you can see here. Now if we go ahead and log into the parent account, as you see here, you see one child registered under that parent's name, little boy bear. So if we go ahead and click that button, you're going to go ahead and see a Google Map pop up as well as a notification in a few seconds. Because of our boundary system, which we will go ahead and explain.
Now, as we zoom in, we currently see two objects. The first object is the marker of the current child, and the second object is a boundary. And right now, as you can see, we received an SMS from SciSafe. Using VoIP's API, SMS API, we were able to create an SMS system, and from that SMS system, it explained that 5,000 meters, which is the boundary that we've set. Now, we feel like it's important to notify the parents when the child has has left the boundary. And right now, as you can see, the child is way far away from the boundary.
Now, another feature that we also added to our app was the notifier if the child is at home. So if we go ahead and, actually a scenario that we can use, right? So let's say my child has soccer practice at 6 o'clock and wants to be home by 6:30, but the parent is working at that time. So he or she can go ahead and set an alarm at 6:30, and at 6:30, the app will go ahead and check if the child's home or not. And if so, the app will go ahead and send an SMS to the parent saying the child has successfully come home.
As you can see, for time's sake and for the presentation, we're gonna set it 1 minute in advance, and in around 1 minute, you will see an SMS that alerts the parent if the child is in the house or outside.
Next, we're going to talk about the child UI. The child UI is comprised of 3 buttons: red, green, and yellow. The red represents that the child is in extreme danger. Yellow means that the child is in moderate danger and/or she is unsafe about the situation. Green means that the child is completely safe. Take for instance a school shooting situation. A gunman is inside the school and the child has to be safe. The child cannot use SMS because it is too risky and time-consuming to send the SMSs back and forth to the parent. Instead, the child can press the red button to instantly send a message to the parent, which tells them that 1, the child is completely safe, and 2, that the child is in extreme danger.
Thus, our app, as SciSafe, demonstrates the long-term and the short-term possibilities of a parent protecting their child. Long-term, we see that the app shows the parent the long-term through the real-time tracking, through reports being sent, and through allowing the parent being able to set an alarm for when the child is supposed to arrive home. Now, for the short-term safety, we said that the children is allowed to select 3 options in which they can determine how safe they feel in the current situation. Thank you for listening.
So let's get team number 3 on their way up, and then we can ask questions. That's you guys. Yeah.
We barely end.
So you're 5 seconds left. That's it. But you can go ahead and do questions while you're.
Are there any questions?
I noticed that you had to sign in to use the app.
Yeah, after
scenario
signing
that
in.
you presented, that's a sort of barrier for entry, right? In the school shooting, you have to have somebody sign in first.
We have a feature if you sign in once, you have to sign in any more times. So it's there.
This was for demo purposes.
Right, that I understand. We'll make sure you address it. That's all.
Yeah.
So you were talking too about being able to monitor a child who got a certain distance away or outside of where they're supposed to be. Is that just based upon distance from a certain location, or is there some geofencing capability?
So the boundary that you saw, that was actually the parent's location. So the child was actually away from the parent's location. So that was the barrier.
So it would be like, say, you can go 50 feet away, or you can go 100 yards away, or you can go whatever you can.
There's an SMS that said 5,000. So
okay.
That was the parent's location. So if the child was away from 5,000 meters, there's a radius, as you saw. So if the child was out of that 5,000 radius, then
got it.
They would get an SMS.
Also, to add on to that, you can actually change the location of where that boundary exists. So if you want to set it to be your house, all you have to do is go into the settings menu and hit change location of the center of the circle, and then that would change where you want the boundary to be originated at.
Cool. Let's get the next group up.
It's automatic. It's playing live capture. I'm gonna stop it right there. Yeah.
Let's see.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to.
We're hearing your sound feedback.
That's why.
You guys up here for 1 second?
When you're ready, let me know. Go.
Hello everyone, our product is Omana. I think we are agree that in these days it's inevitable that all of us can face an emergency situation, and Omana is a solution for an emergency alert system. The technologies that we have used are Appetize the API by VoIP innovation, WebRTC SDK, and Android Studio for our phone for our mobile application, and Firebase for the database, Node.js for the server side of our web application. And it's basically when the user is facing an emergency situation, they can use the application to send an emergency alert to the predetermined contact, or and with at the same time with the location. But when the user doesn't have time to pull up the application, it can put 3 times the lock screen pattern run, and the application will automatically send the location and with a front-facing picture to the contact, and even the user can use it by record the audio and play loud alert noise.
So what makes our application different from ones that already exist? Basically, we looked at ones that already exist, and we found that they were a little bit clunky and hard to use. And in a case of emergency, you really need something that you can access really quickly and intuitively. So we really try to make that a priority for our application. And then as well, it has multiple features that are combined into one product. So we have our SMS messaging, we have audio recording, we also have the ability to trigger the SMS message through lock screen password. We have our front-facing camera picture that gets sent, as well as the loud audio that can play in case you want to ward off anybody. So this is some mock screenshots. Our app pretty much looks like this, but these are mock screenshots of our app. So as you can see on our main page, it's really simple. There are only 4 buttons. The big emergency button will trigger the SMS message, and you can send it to multiple contacts. You set it up beforehand. The first button above is a record button that will record your audio and store it locally. And then the emergency contacts will take you to this middle screenshot where you can add anybody from your contacts. And then in your settings, you can change things like that. So we really prioritize it being really clean and simple. And then we additionally were developing a first responder monitoring system via a web app. So this would have allowed the user to contact the first responder, call them through the API, or call them, video call them, or send an SMS message. But we didn't really have enough time to make a finished product, so this is what a mock screenshot would have looked like. And now it's time for a demo.
Yeah, hello. So this is a wrap. It looks kind of similar to the mock stuff. The first step you do is go into the contacts and you add the list of people we want to be as emergency contacts. So you go ahead and add this list. If you're in an emergency situation, you can just click on the emergency, and the location and the text will send to the emergency contacts. So now everyone got the messages from the API. So we are using the VoIP technology and the miscellaneous media uploading technology to do that. But this is already implemented, right? So in the emergency situation, nobody has time to go into the app. So what our app do better than others is you can trigger the same functionality using the lock screen passwords. So there is something like hooking and password failed to trigger. So I'll just demonstrate that. So suppose I'm in an emergency situation, I'll just go and put invalid passwords 3 times. So, and this will send the location, the text, and the image, which front-facing camera captured to your emergency contacts. So they will not just know your location, the text, but also the image, like in what situation you are. Also the surrounding people, they can hear the hooting sound. If you are in like dangerous situation, you can also turn that off if you don't want the sound effect. So I'll just show you the image which I got from the app. Okay, so this is your picture. because yeah, I put
It
the
could be
like this.
helpful.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, time's up.
So if you have any questions,
Well done. Let's get number 4 up while we're seeing if anybody's got any questions here.
It's pretty cool, wasn't it?
It's pretty cool.
I like the sound.
So somebody gets a text saying it's an emergency. How do they know what to do or what kind of an emergency or what should happen?
I mean, you can just have your own text and you can type something like I want this help. So the app provides that. You can have your own message. You can type something like, oh, can you please call 911? I'm in this kind of situation. So the app allows that. Also, we have the web app from where like our team can monitor what's happening. They can see the pictures and the media files, and they can also take actions if it's like a really emergency situation. So.
But by default, it sends the time, date, and then the approximate location.
Yeah, the location is the key point.
Yes.
The other person can find out which location you have trouble.
The trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Nice.
Good job.
Very, very good.
Nice shot. Is it the moon, the Mars, it's Saturn?
That's like, star action.
Asteroid, what is that?
We should do that too.
Stars?
Like
Milky Way.
sky.
Sky, beautiful. It's like a halo.
Are you trying to duplicate your screen?
Yeah.
If you do Windows P, oh, yeah, you just click duplicate.
Thank you.
I learned something new.
You're hired. Come on over here a minute.
No, he just works at IT. That's because they don't have that exposure.
He does. You know what?
Yeah. No,
You had to warn you in the real world, though. Everybody uses Windows.
Stay ready when you're ready.
Ready. So, hi guys. We are Team TADHack, and our main focus is safety and security. And these are the technologies, these are the core technologies we're using: status, happy days, and the BOSA beacon system. In today's modern world, security is a key issue, especially for working parents. When both the parents are working, it's very hard for them to keep track of their children, what they're doing. Are they in the house? Are they out? Their safety is a huge concern. So in order to alleviate that concern, we present you our solution.
This is PandaGuard. So it is a security monitoring system that makes use of beacons, VoIP technology, and decentralized subnets. How does it work? Well, first, you go into a home, you set up IDs. Each iBeacon is configured hand in hand to work with decentralized tokens in order to keep track of authorized users within the home. So how do the beacons work?
So basically, the way beacons work is they're a low energy Bluetooth device that emit data, and so data that we're picking up is the strength of the signal coming out, and we use that. We feed it into the POSA API, and we calculate the XY coordinates for each device. So, for example, he has a Raspberry Pi that is monitoring all the iBeacons around here, and you'll see that these values up here update. As he walks around, they'll change. So that's giving you an X and Y coordinates on the map. So we didn't have time to implement it on a map to where you could actually see in the home or in the office place where that person was. But it also gives you the temperature.
So get into how that works. First, we're going to give you a little demo of how the front end will work. So essentially, what the user will see is a configuration file. Once the iBeacons are set up in the home, this is what they'll see. It'll display the user dashboard, which will give the user their token, their name, and their host ID. If a user wants to add a permanent resident to the home, all they go do, they go to the board, they add it, they give the relation, they can add resident, the resident's added. If they want to add a guest, they set the input for guest token, they say how long they want them to stay, and then the guest is officially authorized. So these tokens are useful for tracking individuals when you want to know who is and isn't allowed in the home. So for example, let's say you want to know when your son gets home from work. Once the beacon detects that the son is home from work, you'll receive a text. If you want to know when your daughter gets home from school, you'll receive another text. Additionally, these beacons also keep track of the environmental data. So if you want to know whether or not the home reaches above a certain or goes above a certain threshold or below a certain threshold for temperature, you will also receive text. And my phone has been vibrating. And here you can see the different security messages that we've got from him walking around.
Nice.
And so these are just one of the applications.
All right. So our main goal here is to eliminate the concerns that arise from a lack of information. Because as a parent, the worst thing that can happen to anybody is not know what has happened to your child. And even as a loved one, as long as you have an inkling of what has happened to them or where they are, or what the situation is, it can alleviate a lot of those fear, panic, and a lot of other negative emotions. You know? Bro.
This isn't my
Okay.
Is that the sound that goes off when there's problems?
Maybe. We'll see. So, for the future, what we're looking at is now this system, this tracking system is not only useful for within one family home, we can extend it to multiple apartment complexes. So this way, we'd be not leveraging an entire community to make sure each and every single member in that community is safe, secure, and alert at all times. Especially when we sync this data with first responders, when people like firefighters, say there's an emergency, fire in your apartment. When firefighters come in, they will have all the data that they need to secure your loved ones. So that is PandaGuard.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time.
Any questions? One or two questions, and then the judges are going to huddle. Anybody?
Yep.
One play double advocate. Real quick. Can someone can someone hack into the system, or can the system be used negatively as somebody trying to track somebody down instead of for intended purpose?
That was a concern. That was a concern, which is why we're using the ERC20 token system. So these tokens are inherently encrypted, and they're also split up in discrete pieces. So this way, everybody doesn't have, only those who are authorized will have the respective information.
Additionally, if the beacon detects someone that's unauthorized, it will send a text as well. So that's why you would set people to be in your home with an authorized vehicle.
Any other questions?
use fire as a potential, I guess, solution. The problem with fire is that it's hot. It melts things. You know, granted, all of these beacons around here for demo purposes of demo are pretty high, which to me would seem like it would be a potential problem if there were a fire in here. You guys think about that solution?
Different hardware for that. One of the concerns is too with smoke. We were thinking about utilizing lore in order to emit the frequency because Bluetooth can be blocked by the smoke. So that is more of a, like a hardware problem that we're trying to figure out.
As long as you thought about it, yeah.
Right now, this is a working like demonstration product. This is why we are using Bluetooth.
Sure. Right. Thanks, everybody. Now, just real quick, I know there were a couple of other teams earlier that thought they were going to present. I don't think that they're here, but have we missed anybody who wants to present? Okay. Relax for a little while, have a soda, eat some cold pizza. We will be back soon.
Three of us are going to go. You know where
Let's do it.
our office is?
Oh.
Let's do it.
Okay. I forgot my root beer pop out there. I have to go get it.
Yeah.
I'm going to pause the stream.
Okay.
Slap me with a diet if you can.
I can die.
Are we still streaming?
Yeah, I don't know if I should keep it going because we're going to come back and tell the results, correct?
Keep it up.
I'll just keep it up because you never know, they switch the channels and everything. It's,
Okay, we'll switch.
yeah.
All right. We're going to Southern Road. Come on down.
Carol, where's Carol? Are you a judge, Carol, or no? Carol, are you a judge? I'm sorry.
The three of us.
Yeah.
The three of you.
Let's do it. Warren, sorry about, that I think they should give you a definitive URL.
Yeah.
What happens is you pause.
So the other teams around the world, are they, they're broadcasting theirs at different times or same times? Or
Same time on different channels.
I see.
So it's a lot of activity here.
So
some of them they are skewed, so when we stop, they start. We have like time slots. But we really don't know when you're going to stop because you could get a couple teams added in at the last second.
Yep.
That weren't prepared, all of a sudden something starts to work.
I understand.
Yeah, that usually
That
happens.
was why I was asking.
Yeah.
It's a complicated problem.
That's right.
Impressive.
But it was fun.
So, yeah. I think what I did last year was similar. No problem with this. So, I had a piece into it, put in the address, put in Google API, and then get that had an NLP feature to it, so you type in I need help. But it also handles Spanish and all that sort of stuff, so if you type in Cuidado or whatever, it will go back and then translate that into something that people use. So I like the idea of using old school things to solve similar problems. Not America, has smartphones that are ubiquitous here, but in Africa, everyone has flip phones because they last forever. Yeah, it depends where. You're absolutely right. But, yeah. Yeah. But I was just using it, the batteries last forever. But so reminded of my old Nokia 7000 series, the thing that would last for a week.
Do you put keys on it to protect the work?
Yeah. Yeah. It was, yeah, that was it. Something that was, so I did like a security thing last year. I wanted something to work on 24 hours a day. It was different. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a box of Raspberry Pi.
oh,
Yeah, the Raspberry Pi box that was sitting on the table and was in the earlier. It had like the breadboard.
Sure.
Bigger box, just like this big.
Now this is the same box that Patrick left?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, I was just worried that it walked off or something, but do you see Patrick much or?
Yeah, I talked to him beforehand. He said he didn't.
Okay, perfect. Because otherwise, I live near him, so.
Oh, yeah, he said either one, so you can take it.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
We're
We're gonna see each other at lunch probably next week. But if you live near him, he said you can take it also.
Oh yeah, I'll.
Okay.
I told you she remembered that one. Well, I didn't talk to her, but I saw the voicemail and I can imagine her talking about it. I think we all did a good job. It was fun for sure. Yeah, they're cookies. Are you talking about on the piece of paper? Well, tomorrow, next week there's a conference like for the next 3 days. She invited me to that. It's not TADHack, it's related to technology that has to do with telecommunications. Like, who's the guy, open source guy, Richard Stallman, he's coming here tomorrow.
Richard is coming?
That created this TADHack, he's coming. There's a bunch of other people, they're doing workshops for WebRTC and everything.
So we just, she said she'll go over it.
Oh.
Talk about this on the table.
Okay.
So that's tomorrow.
So this one's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. Yeah, she said she's gonna mention it.
Awards here and pictures. Let's go. Let's go for awards and pictures. Line up, please. Line up. Front and center. Center and front. Everybody did a great job.
So what I'd like first of all is to have everybody who hacked up in the front for a quick picture of the whole group.
Hackers up front. Let's go.
TADHackers.
Everybody. We're gonna do everybody. I've got groups.
Watch your cords. Watch the cord. Watch the cord.
I wonder if it's done. What is that?
Watch the cord, Kay. Stand by the cord.
Watch the cord.
Carol, Tom, get up there.
Still need that cord, right?
Yep. Where's Carol?
Carol.
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 Carol Merrill.
Alright.
Is that everybody? Are we missing anybody?
Smile and say hackathon.
Here, come on, you two. You guys are
Three of you are not showing on the photos. So you have to maybe leave behind.
I'm tall enough. I can
Yeah.
stand over here.
Yeah,
Okay.
there we go.
There we go. That'll work.
We need some more people, right?
It's a sword algorithm. Shh.
Okay, 1 second. Thank you.
All right. Very good.
Guys, you got it?
Are we missing?
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're in the other office. Here they come.
Oh my God. She's busy doing selfies or something, you know? Let's go. Let's go. Not new pictures now.
You were so close, too.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft?
Are there more people?
Is there more on your team? Tell them to get in here. Hurry up.
Lauren, bring a bullhorn next time, please. We need an app with an alarm. Line up.
You had Kathleen take your phone too?
Yeah. Touch anywhere on the screen and take one, too. When they're
Sure.
right there. Just, you don't have to touch in the middle.
Should I
Just
do it from
hit-
here? Is that okay?
If it looks good from there, that's fine.
Or you just touch the screen?
Yes, anywhere on the screen.
Anywhere.
Not in the middle.
Not in the middle. All right.
Okay, are we ready now?
Very
Ready?
healthy
One more.
girl. Oh my gosh. Squeeze
Quick
in.
announcement while you're
Squeeze
out
in,
here,
everybody.
You're invited to the tutorials tomorrow.
Okay, let's do this first. One thing at a time.
All right, breathe in, everybody. Smile, healthy smiles. Nice, good. You're gonna be on NBC tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, all right. Thanks, everybody. Carol, did you want to make a quick announcement before we do this?
Yeah, that would be great.
Thank you.
Great. So thanks all for coming. Tomorrow begins 3 days of the Real-Time Communications Conference. Everybody's been developing here today. If you would like to come for free of charge to 2 tutorials tomorrow, pick up a paper out on the desk there. You're invited. Just stop by the registration desk. They'll give you a badge. You can go in the morning to hear Bernardo Bova of Microsoft give a tutorial on ORTC and WebRTC. And tomorrow afternoon, you can go to the tutorial on programmable networks with instructor Charles Eckel from Cisco. So thank you all for coming, and we appreciate all your efforts. You can also pick up the schedule for the 2 days of conference that follow, and that's out there. Okay.
So.
The moment of
The moment of truth.
So every team got votes this year. And we've got a $1,000 prize that we're giving away that we're splitting up because the voting was so close. So we have 2 runners up, and they're each going to get $250. So they're not 3rd place or 2nd place. They actually had a dead heat tie between the 2 of them. So we have 2 runners up in no particular order. SciSafe for $200, $250. Come on up, let's take a picture taken.
Photo shoot.
Look here for a second. Right here.
All right, great. You wait, go. All right, congratulations, guys. And also for $250 as a runner-up, Amanda.
then look over here. Thank you.
Congrats. And then taking home the grand prize this year, congratulations to Panda Guard.
Woo!
Get the rest of your team up there.
It's a big team. Very good. I feel safer already.
Right here a second, I'll take 2 pictures, one, and here's the second picture coming up. Two, thank you. Oops, I got a reflection off the screen. Get that second picture over here.
Yeah.
Right here. Thank you.
All right. Nicely done,
Great
everybody.
job.
So, just so you know, for your prize money, Alan Quayle is going to be in touch with you early this week, and he will make arrangements on how to distribute that to each of you. So, also, as, the three of you team, if you're available on Wednesday afternoon, Alan is given a keynote at the Real-Time Communications Conference. And so most of the presentation will be Alan. He's going to be talking about a little bit about why TADHack is important, why programmable telecoms is important, et cetera, et cetera. But as an example, he'd like to have you do your demos, just as you did today, for the entire audience at the conference. I understand that everybody's got schedules. If you're not available, you're not required to do this. If you are available and you're interested in doing that, please see me and I can get you some more details about exactly where to go and et cetera.
Team of one, get a picture of Team of one too. Get a picture of Team of one.
Berman Hall.
Him, the young man.
Hot potato. Hot potato. Hot potato.
And if every single member
What's
of the team is not
Take a
available,
picture.
you don't need every single member to do
Get
your
up front
demo,
for a
that's
picture.
fine, too.
Yeah.
Let's say 2 or 3 of you
Get
are
up front for a
available,
picture.
2 or 3
Every
of you
team gets a
aren't.
picture.
That's fine. Whatever the case may be.
Hot, let's get Hot Potato a picture here too. We gotta have every
Oh,
team
yeah.
a picture. He's a Hot Potato. All right. Woo! Go Boston, huh?
Warren, one other thing you want to make mention of, if any of these teams win a global prize, how will they be?
Oh yes, so that's the last thing. The fact that you've won a prize or haven't won a prize does not mean that you won't have more prizes. So Status and VoIP Innovations are both looking at all of the hacks that are happening across the globe, and they will be awarding sponsor prizes that are in addition to the prizes that we awarded this afternoon. So no guarantees, but it's quite possible that there are more prizes to be awarded. And that,
You know how big the pot is of prize money?
the total pot is 20-some thousand. I'm not even sure right off the top of my head, but anyway, there's more prize money to be awarded, and it's not uncommon to see somebody get topped up a little bit. So we'll see. That will be announced on Monday afternoon after the sponsors have had a chance to go through all of the hacks across the globe. So by the time the keynote takes place on Wednesday, for example, that will be known information. So. All right, thank you all again. We really appreciate you joining us. And you'll get an email from us next year, so hopefully we'll all be back. Yep, well done, guys. Well done.
How'd it go?
Good.
Look at yours.
Shut her down.
I'm getting static from my sound.
Could be your headphones. Oh, is it- no,
Both
thank
headphones.
you. And some peanut butter cookies too.
Please do.
All right.
Nice work.
Thanks, Tom.
Good, thank you.
Yeah.